Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of FoodFAQ. I'm Mariela.
And I'm Eric.
And today, what are we talking about, Keita?
We're talking about our favorite subject, Maddie.
We're
talking about cookies.
Oh my God, cookies are my favorite dessert.
They're mine too.
Because they're small and they're warm and fresh. They're always, at least, when you make them at home, obviously, and freeze your cookie dough like I do. I always have a fresh, warm cookie.
I think we were talking about earlier today. It's like the first thing that I probably ever made that I ever cooked, period. So
right.
It's a chocolate chip cookie.
Yes. It's the first thing I think I remember making successfully and wanting to gift to other people.
Yeah, no, definitely it is. It's, I don't know. I think it's just really homey.
And yes. Homey. I love that.
Homey. And I don't know. It gives you just like warm feelings and it's really delicious. And I think if you don't like a cookie, you're a vampire or something of the sort. Because vampires can't eat food.
That's right. So you must be a vampire.
Don't you remember what they do? What is it? What was that show that we love? What We Do in the Shadows?
God. Yes.
Okay. And like anytime they ate food, they would throw it up.
That's right.
They can't eat food.
I forgot about that.
If you don't like cookies, I'm going to assume you're a vampire.
Yeah, I agree. And it's great for the summer because it's a little treat. And when the summertime, you don't want to eat your weight in anything.
I will eat my weight in cookies. I don't give a shit how hot it is outside. Like Satan's asshole out there. I have no problems eating my weight in cookies. Okay. That's why God made air conditioning.
True. And you can have several flavors at the same time. I don't know. I can write a love letter to a cookie. I just can.
I would like to see that.
You're going to make fun of me the entire time.
I will. Not the first poem I've made fun of you for.
It's so true. What was the first one, Kay? Do you remember?
It was to Kurt Cobain in 8th grade.
And it's like 20 pages long.
I have to sit on the phone and listen to every page of it.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
I forgot. And you're dead. Not laughing at someone's death, but I'm just saying it was your obsession back then.
We were obsessed with dead rockers and he was. I know.
We're obsessed. Don't drag me into that one.
Anyway.
You were a fan. So it was not my genre of music.
No, it wasn't Celine Dion.
Leave her out of this. Okay. Leave her out of this.
Oh,
okay.
God. Listen.
Because guess who's still kicking? Celine Dion. One for Eric.
Is she though? Have you seen?
Yes, she totally is.
She's not okay. She needs help. Whatever happened to her after her husband passed away was sad. And I feel bad for her. She needs a cookie for sure.
Well, she definitely needs a cookie. But let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
One time, many years ago, my friend Tanya went to see Celine Dion in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right? I think we must have been in college. And that was like my dream to go see her in Vegas. So one night she called, my phone rings. Believe it or not, I was on the treadmill in my mom's home. And I know. And so my phone rings and I see Tanya's number come up. And I was like thinking, oh my God, she should be in the Celine Dion concert right now. And the Celine concert in Vegas is really strict about what you can, because it's not a massive concert like, when we went to Madonna and stuff like that. This was like a more intimate setting. And she snuck her phone in her bra.
Oh my God.
And so when Celine Dion started singing, she put me on speakerphone and let me listen to it. And I swear to God, I cried. Like, I had to stop my workout. It was very hard for me to stop my workout.
You were emotional.
And I cried. I did. That was.
What a beautiful moment that was.
You can make fun of me, but you know what?
I think it's beautiful. I really do. I could see the emotion. I could.
It was just like I heard the emotion about Kurt Cobain in your voice.
Oh my God, what a bunch of Nimrods. But you'd probably still cry, I think.
I would definitely still cry. That's 100%. I would definitely still cry.
Well, I want you to make me cry over these cookies that you're going to make me.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with one. And so when Ryan and I lived in Jersey, there was this place called Cookie Connect. And if anybody's in like we took you there.
Yeah, I remember.
So anybody like in like the Paramus, Jersey area, Cookie Connect, freaking delicious. Anyways, they had a birthday cake cookie and he loved it. So I said, I'm going to have to recreate it, but I didn't know how to recreate this.
Right.
And I realized it was the extract that I was using that's not creating it well. So here's how you do it. It's really simple. You're just going to get a basic sugar cookie recipe. As a matter of fact, you can use a box sugar cookie if you want to be quick. Use a box sugar cookie, follow the instructions on it, or follow the instructions of any cookie recipe. But here is the little secret. And this has been my baking secret, Mariela, for like the past like 7-8 months. And that is to use cookie batter extract.
You've told me about this?
Cake batter extract.
Cookie batter.
Cake batter extract.
Wait, that sounds really good.
That does sound delicious. Mix in some water. Just drink.
Oh.
But
inventing this. Okay.
Cake batter extract. So in place of vanilla, use cake batter extract. And even if you're using a box recipe, always put a vanilla extract or some extract in there just to make it a little bit better. But throw cake batter extract. You need about a teaspoon of it. Throw cake batter extract. It's really potent. So if you think you need more, you do not.
I have never used this and you keep telling me about it and I'm living vicariously through you.
I have a box here and it has your name on it. I do.
Oh my God. I wonder if I could take it through the airport with me.
It's less than 3 ounces.
Is it? Okay, good. Every time I go to DC, they stop, like they always want to look at my luggage and I'm like, what is it about me?
Well,
yes.
I mean, anyway, so cake batter extract. Okay.
So you add that instead of vanilla or
add that instead of vanilla.
Okay, got it.
Okay. You can, I mean, you can put a little vanilla in there too if you want to, but this is just really the main thing that's going to form this cookie different. And just that you know, cake batter extract goes amazing in everything. Put it in a cheesecake instead of vanilla. Put it in, honest to God, put in anything and it really pumps up that flavor. I will also say a lot of cookie recipes call for like 2.5 cups of flour when you use it, right? So I have learned that instead of using 2.5 cups flour, cookies turn out really good if you use 2 cups flour, maybe like 2.25 cup flour, and then use a 1/4 cup of dried milk.
That's another thing I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, that really helps. So anyways, you're going to make this dough. Okay, it's just delicious dough. And then you're going to throw white chocolate chips in there, which are not real chocolate, by the way. But anyways, we'll get into that another day. So you're going to throw white chocolate chips in there and you're going to throw a bunch of sprinkles in there because it's just, I'm lying to you. No, you're not going to throw the sprinkles in there. No. You're actually going to roll the cookie dough balls and you're going to roll them into sprinkles.
Okay.
So we have the cookie dough with the cake batter extract and the white chocolate chips in there. Roll them into the little balls, throw them in the sprinkles, roll them around, and then bake them off. I like my cookies really soft, so I only bake cookies for about 12 minutes.
Me too.
And that's it. And then you let them cool and they're really soft and delicious.
Yes.
And this base cookie, it's going to taste like a birthday cake.
Delicious.
It's going to be so freaking good.
I love birthday cake flavor.
It is so good. In the search of the cake batter extract, there was like a whole world of extracts that opened up to me, but I had no freaking clue. So you could play with this. Use a raspberry extract, use a mint extract, use a banana extract, use any type of extract that you see on Amazon. You can go and you can use that and it's going to really flavor your item. But we're going to level up the cookies here. And you take these birthday cake cookies and if we want to make it extra summer and fun, just make ice cream sandwiches out of these.
Yes.
You can make ice cream sandwiches. If you want to even level it up even further, get some chocolate chips, put them in a bowl, put like a teaspoon of like coconut oil and just kind of microwave it for like 15 seconds at a time and just melt it. And then dip half the cookie.
Oh man, that sounds so good.
It is so delicious. And the final thing, Mariela, that you can do with this, especially since it's summertime coming up, people are going to be outdoors, is if you want to make s'mores with your kids, instead of using graham crackers, use this cookie recipe with it.
Yum. Have you had
seriously level it up?
Speaking about s'mores, have you had the marshmallows that are stuffed with chocolate?
I have.
Oh,
I have.
That's from the Lord.
It's like a little secret passion. I have. I really have.
You do?
Yeah, no, I love them. They're delicious.
Me too.
They're delicious.
And I get so excited. Oh my God.
Anyway. I won't. So speaking about marshmallows.
Yeah.
during fall time, you know how I like to get really basic during fall time? Okay. Mm-hmm. And they have like pumpkin spice flavored marshmallows.
Ugh, I've had them.
Okay. You know what? It's just like being a vampire.
No, they're just like, I don't know. They're not for me.
Maybe it's just the Miami in you. I have no idea. Because no, it's fucking hot as hell over there even in October. Okay, we're all here in like sweaters and scarves, and I'm taking pictures of myself in leaves.
Yeah.
So this cookie recipe that I do, Mariela, it's really great. And it's really fun for the kids too, because who doesn't love sprinkles in their cookies?
The kids will eat anything if I put a sprinkle on it. Literally.
Absolutely. And making ice cream sandwiches out of them just makes it more delicious. Or a s'more.
I saw this thing where like they get pints of ice cream, or not a pint, but
like the quart, or like the small, like the Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, and they'll cut it like the literal thing into slices, which I've never tried, but looks super cool and fun and easy, I guess, right?
I've never had a pint of ice cream last long enough for me to cut it into circles like that.
Well, yeah, I guess. I think you would have to slice it before you open and eat it. That's what I'm guessing. Yes. That would be the order of things.
I mean, if that's how it lasts in your home. So I want to talk about my recipe first, because I wanted to leave your recipe next, because this sounds really amazing.
We're going to have like a doctoral level discussion on the queen of cookies, which is the chocolate chip cookie.
That is the best cookie on the planet. There's nothing better than chocolate chip cookie.
Right. Like if there were no other cookies in the world, but chocolate chip, I would be okay. I would.
You know, like people like went through that fad. Do you remember like a fad when we were younger where like everybody loved white chocolate macadamia nut cookies? I don't know why I remember it. I didn't like that shit. Okay. It tasted weird. It tasted too much like baking soda for me.
They're oily.
And it just, for some reason, I just tasted like the baking soda in it. And everybody was all crazy about it. And I just wanted a chocolate chip cookie. Mariela.
What?
Do you remember Mrs. Love?
I do. Southwest? She got it.
Okay. Do you remember her from Southwest High?
She got it. She used to have to go and get her chocolate chip cookies for lunch all the time. Yeah. She did nothing but eat cookies.
Like, Mariela, go get me a cookie. That's exactly what she sounded like.
Yes.
Go get me a cookie.
So Miss Love, their typing teacher, which is probably with the Lord.
Let's go back really quick to the fact that you and I took a typing class on typewriters.
I didn't even catch that.
Okay, so I just want to say, you and I took a typing class
on typewriters.
On typewriters,
like legit type with ribbons and whatnot. Yeah, that was us. Man, we're a weird generation where we can record a podcast on our computer, but also typed on ribbon typewriters in high school.
Yeah, and Mrs. Love's high
shit.
School class. Okay,
so I'm sure you've made a chocolate chip cookie, regular person, right? Most people, I think, have made at least a chocolate chip cookie, at least once. You know? So we all know it's butter and white sugar and brown sugar and baking soda, and it doesn't have baking powder usually. Salt and vanilla, egg, flour. Did I miss anything? Basic, right? I think
so. Butter.
Butter makes it better. Now, there's different iterations to these things, right? These basic ingredients can change so much depending on how you use them, right? And I don't mean to get too technical, but some of these things are super important. They make a huge difference in your end product. And if you really want to make a good cookie and you like, all you have to do is use the same ingredients, but maybe tinker with them in a different way, it's worth it.
Yes.
You know? So I used to make my chocolate chip cookies with softened butter and then whip it. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I just learned this new recipe where you melt the butter just enough, not to brown it, just to melt it and not have any of the liquid evaporate. You just do that. And then you whip it with the butter, with the sugars. And there's something that happens when you do that to the cookie where it becomes crusty on the outside, but it's still nice and soft on the inside.
Really?
Yes. So it's like a small adjustment, right? So, and also it's better because you don't have to wait for the butter to soften. You can just cut it up and melt it. So it cuts time off. Then the way you measure your flour matters. I'm sure you've seen on a cooking show that you don't just like plonk it in there. You have to air it out and then measure it with your cup. Because if you don't, then you're going to add too much flour. I use a scale, and not because I'm trying to be fancy, but because to me, it's a lot easier to just measure the ingredient out into the bowl and see the number on the scale rather than get a ton of little cups and having to myself really make more dishes for myself. So really, in essence, I'm lazy. So I use this.
They say it's more precise too when you measure on a scale.
It is.
I want to say I heard that. I want to say Alton Brown taught me that.
I want to say it right.
Not personally, but you know.
You don't know Al?
I wish. No. On like this TV show many years ago. But I want to say that. So I want to say that they measuring, weighing it.
Yeah, it's more precise. You get better results, but also to me, less dishes, which is amazing, right? And I love cookies, so I make them often. The next thing I want to talk about is the sugar. So sugar is white sugar, no problem. But we all know we can buy brown sugar at the store, right? A thing called brown sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a listener ask me if I've ever made brown sugar. And the answer was no, I had never made it before. So I started Googling. And it's nothing but regular sugar with molasses. You just put it in your mixer. This is what I did last time. I put it in my mixer with the white sugar and then just put like a tablespoon of molasses, which I didn't measure. I just like eyeballed it because it smells and tastes kind of good. So I don't care if I do a little more. And then you just like whip everything together and it becomes brown sugar. Right. And it is so much better, Eric. Worth the effort because it's not a lot of effort.
I can see that. I still probably not do it, but I can see that.
I'm telling you, if you buy the molasses and keep it in your cupboard, one day you're going to need it because you don't have brown sugar, but you have regular sugar and you're going to be loving your molasses.
I bet you it does taste good. I bet you it does taste really good.
I think it's so worth making, Keith. I'm going to kind of force you to do it because we're going to make these cookies together, I feel. And,
okay.
And I'm going to force you into molasses. And
so now do we have to alter how much flour goes into the cookie recipe because you're melting the butter?
You know, no, it's about 2.5 cups standard.
Okay.
Yeah. And vanilla, the eggs, people say they have to be room temperature. I have never once noticed a difference in the temperature of flipping eggs.
I've never done it room temperature.
Right? It's so stupid. People like to complicate life and you don't have to. You can just use your eggs from the fridge. They like get to the temperature of whatever else you're using as well. And I'm using hot butter. So forget it. You don't need to have the egg temperature is not important. Anyway, there's that, right? So these are the things that I do when I make a cookie that make a difference. I put the butter in with the sugar. So you whip it until it becomes a lighter brown shade, right? So butter and sugars together will whip into a lighter color. I like to whip it with the paddle. If you have a stand mixer, you can make it with regular one, but I think the mixer makes better cookies. And I think that's an important tip, right? Whipping up that butter to make it nice and light. I think it makes a difference. Do you care?
I do. Well, I have a tendency of whipping the butter a lot anyways. Yeah. Just because I end up doing other things.
You forget.
So it's just like, oh shit, the butter's being whipped.
So you naturally do this.
It's an instinct.
Yes. So I'll do that. I add the eggs, I add the vanilla. And then I find that instead of whipping in the flour, what makes a good bit of difference is to fold it in manually, the flour. Okay. It leads to a more tender crumb, I think, than when you beat it all together with a machine. That's another tip. And then when I do that, right before the flour is all incorporated, I'll add in the chocolate chips. And then I'll really go to town and get all those chocolate chips in there. Another thing, chocolate is important. I make them with my favorite chocolate chip brand is from Target, the Good and Gather. They're delicious to me. Mm-hmm. And I usually get like the regular size and the mini size and I mix it in there because it becomes like a different bite of chocolate. But recently I started, what is your face open about? What's going on?
Because I do the same thing, but I use chocolate chunks.
Okay, that was what I was getting at. I have heard, right, that the chocolate chips have stabilizers on them, like the cheese, the shredded cheese, the bag. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try to use real chocolate, Eric. Another thing that makes a big difference.
Oh, like cut it up from the bar?
Cut it up from the bar. It becomes little pools of chocolate. It looks like a bakery cookie when you do that. Makes a difference. Do you need to? No, it will still be a good cookie. But if you have bars of chocolate, do that.
That does sound good.
Yes. And then this is another trick. I bake the cookies. I usually, like I said before, I freeze them. I freeze the balls of dough. Let's say you don't. You put the cookies on the sheet. And then I bake them for about 6 minutes at like 325. And then I pull it out. I bang the plate once on the counter so they become craggly on the outside. I put a healthy pinch of a finishing salt, or if you need to use kosher, go ahead. I use this one that I got at Trader Joe's. It's like Portuguese sea salt, some shit. It's delicious. I put that on top and then I put it at 350. I change the oven temperature to 350 for another 6 minutes, depending on the cookie and the size. And these things make your cookies bakery worthy.
Sounds great.
I know it's a lot of stuff to do for one cookie, but I promise it makes all the world of difference.
Well, I think if chocolate chip cookie is the queen of cookies,
treat her nice.
Then right. I do like the idea of chopping up a bar.
Oh,
because you get like different pieces, larger, smaller, things like that. So the mouthfeel is going to be kind of nice. I love things that are not like
uniform.
Really uniformed. Yeah, I like them that are not uniform. And you're right. If you have chocolate chips on hand, just use chocolate chips. It's still going to be a really good cookie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why, and I haven't done the bar, but I've done chunks.
We're going to do it with the bar together.
Yeah, let's do the bar. What bar do you use?
I use the bars from Aldi. To me, makes the best chocolate. Have you had the chocolate from Aldi before?
No.
It's like from someplace in Switzerland or Germany. I have no idea, but their chocolate quality is banging and it's so well priced. And I use a milk and a dark.
Nice.
So you can use any combination you desire.
Let me tell you, when people make chocolate chips, like chocolate chip cookies, usually the recipe always calls for semi-sweet chocolate chips. But I love mixing milk chocolate in with them. I like the sweeter milk. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to eat a cookie. So I want to be really decadent to begin with. Yeah. So I kind of like what you're doing there, the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate, because it's kind of giving you that semi-sweet.
Right. That's right. I didn't even think about that. But it does create that kind of like, exactly, a semi-sweet. Because I like salty dessert. I like balanced desserts. I don't want to say salty. But I don't like to eat anything sweet that's cloyingly sweet. Like, I don't have an appetite for that at all.
Right.
These cookies are the perfect mix. My daughter's teacher, I give them to her for special occasions. And she stopped me the other day and she was like, oh my gosh, those cookies with that little salt and the finish. And she was talking to me like we're talking about cookies. And I was like, this cookie makes you a gourmet cookie lover. That's awesome. Good. So I will post that recipe on the show notes.
Yeah.
I think. And then you guys can check it out. And if you try it, let me know. Because I want to change your cookie life. This is very important to me. This is part of my life's work here, Eric.
Everything you built up.
Everything I built up has been culminating in this moment.
But I like that. I think that sounds really good. I think the salt is like a nice little...
It's everything. You can put salt on a Pillsbury cookie and it would elevate it. Salt does so much for baked goods.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think... So my mother, love her, but... not a baker. She's not a baker. She does not bake.
Mine either.
Because, she makes her Cuban food. That's good. But she's not a baker.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that our obsession with baking is because we grew up with Pillsbury dough in our house? And then one day, like at the age of like 12, got frustrated and decided to learn how to make cookies on our own? Because that's what happened to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, this is crap. Even with the Pillsbury dough, she still burn it half the time.
Yeah, I don't even think my mom...
Or they come out really crispy because she loves crispy cookies and I hate crispy cookies.
I hate crispy cookies.
They're horrible.
Vampire.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Vampire. So maybe that's where the obsession comes from.
Yeah, I think cooking in general, right? We grew up with parents who had to work and they both had to work and we were alone.
Single parents that had to work.
Right. And we were alone at home a lot. And so what do? You watch HGTV and the Food Network, or not even, because I used to watch Channel 2.
Really?
Remember the cooking shows on Channel 2? You don't remember them?
I mean, that's a long time ago. I remember watching Food Network with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm talking about little, when I used to be like a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Like Julia Child's little.
It's like this, like when it was illegal. Now it's illegal probably to be home when you're that young by yourself.
That is so true. When we grew up with, like, okay, just call me when you get home.
But look, it led to the best cookies ever. So I had the experience.
The 80s and 90s built children that make the best cookies ever.
Yeah, they cook. I think that's why we're so obsessed with cooking. But anyway, I was thinking about how we could use these cookies. Like, I think your cookie would be a beautiful cookie cake, which is just really a big cookie that you spread out. And then you can decorate it with frosting. Remember those? They used to have them in the mall. I think they might even still.
No, I don't think Mrs. Fields cookies. Remember them?
Is that it?
That was it. I don't think they exist anymore.
I think we have to bring back the cookie cake. It's such a cute idea.
Cookie cake is delicious.
And who doesn't want a slice of cookie? That right? Okay, so I think we could do that. And you could even mix flavors if you do that, right? You can make half sugar. You can make half whatever the other one is. And I don't know, fun, right? I think you can make it kind of cool. Make it for yourself. Make it your own.
The only thing I can say about baking when it comes to cooking, and I think this is like the only time that I would ever say this, is when you bake, you just got to make sure your recipe is precise.
Yes.
They always say that baking is a science. Because it is. It's literally, chemical reactions.
Right.
So I think that just needs to be said, because a lot of our shows talk about, be kind of free spirit with this.
Yeah.
And don't be free spirit with baking. Be free spirit in the sense of how you flavor it and what you do to flavor it. But when it comes to the actual baking, follow the recipe. If it says 2 eggs, add 2 eggs only. You can adjust certain things. If it says 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup of white sugar, you can, change up to a cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white. Like you can change things like that.
Yeah.
And like how you talked about melting the butter, or you can brown the butter, those things you can change up. But when it comes to I think the measurements, they need to be precise.
Right. In particular I think also for that recipe, right? Because you can make a chocolate chip cookie 1,700 different ways, but you need to follow the one recipe.
Right.
It's not something you can mishmash together unless you have a lot of experience.
Even when it comes to mixing it. So when it says to make the wet ingredients first, the sugar, the eggs, things like that, and then combine your dry ingredient, like you really do have to follow. You can't just dump it in one bowl and mix it. You're not going to end up with a good product. So I think when it comes to baking, I think people are a little scared of it, because you do got to be precise, because you can mess up baking really quickly. Food, you can fix. Baking, you can't fix. But even if your baking comes out bad, you still had a good time doing it.
Yes.
And I think baking is great is because you don't have like an open flame. You can get your kids involved in it too.
They love it.
And allow them to help out, allow them to mix the stuff. And it really turns out just to be a good time.
Yes.
With everybody.
But it's fun. And they love that stuff. They love getting their hands. Yeah. I like making bread with the kids because I hate a mess, but with dough, it's kind of contained, just if anybody wants. But they do love making cookies. They do like eating cookies for sure.
Right.
There's always a cookie in my freezer, which is another thing I really recommend, that you always have cookie dough portioned out in your freezer, because future you will thank you. Every time.
I think especially with kids too.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, we want to cut costs here as well. And when you're able to make a big batch of dough, and what's great is dough freezes for quite a while. And when you want to make a big batch of dough and your kids want something sweet during the day, after dinner, things like that, it is also a money saver as well. It's just going to be so much tastier.
So much better. Yeah, and my kids are so bougie. They're, Mom, I want the salt on the cookie. Like, if I gave them a cookie that you buy, like, what's that, soft batch? I used to love soft batch when I was a kid.
That's because that's all I knew.
Yes. And now I eat it, I'm like, this tastes straight up chemically. Like, there's nothing.
The cookie I used to love? Do you remember the Magic Middle cookies?
Remember? With the elf? Yeah.
Yeah, the keyboard. I used to love those. And I'm not downing anybody who buys those cookies. Like, I'm not going to kink shame what cookie you like here, but, they're gross.
Yes.
When you learn how to make your own, and that's the thing, when you learn how to make a dough, you could just keep making it. It's for me, when I make chocolate chip cookies, it's out of memory. Yeah. I don't have to follow a recipe. I've made it so many times. And when you start realizing you could do that and freeze it like how you freeze it,
yes,
you will never touch those again, even though an Oreo in milk is delicious. But other than that, you will never touch the other ones again.
Yeah, it's just easier to have it. And you know what's in it, which is great. When you're feeding your kids a bunch of sugar, at least you're the one who put the sugar in there.
Right.
Well, I know we got a little bit techie in this episode, and we do love easy peasy approaches, but we want you to have a good cookie. And cookies are easy and simple, so we want you to be a pro.
And make your summer good with a cookie.
Yeah. Ice cream, sprinkles, sanding sugar, make it a cookie cake. You could even put them on the underside of a muffin tin and bake them and create cups, edible cups.
Right.
Do it. Dip it
and
into
get your kids involved. Get your friends involved even. Have a good time when you're making them.
You can have a fun cookie party to, to entertain. I love it. I love cookies.
Me too. I think
they're a love language, especially for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And please make them. Reach out to us. Show us everything that you're doing. And we know that you guys are loving our episodes and we love making them. So thank you so much for listening and have an amazing week.
Yeah.